Okay, so you're gonna see a few back-to-back videos about the things I made many times. I've talked about the different manipulation they may experience. They do this nasty pedophilia things that just disgusting, from the babies to the older kids, and it's been nasty. This is example of like the babies, literally baby. This one that I don't know if you can see is like a baby and her pampers. The things they will try to make me imagine. You're so disgusting. But all these little kids, from the babies to like little toddlers, they're forcing me to get disgusting reactions of some sort. And right now what they're doing to try to make me accepting of these things, right? Is like they're gonna rape you, torture you. It's gonna be blatant. Like, listen, all the horrible torture I'm gonna experience is never gonna validate the torture that is psychological, which is the pedophilia type of torture. Now, these people obviously at this point know that I'm too validated to even subscribe to it, right? So at this point, what they say is just more for agitation purposes, no longer for just trying to make me subscribe or identify with this. There's never going to be a point where I will identify with something that I know is being manipulated, especially when you have these validations. And so their job at this point is just purely agitation. They know that I'm never going to subscribe to it, and I know the reality of what they do. Of course, at this point, I make it clear. Right now, after you hear me say what they do to me, you're going to hear things you've heard many times. They do the pedophilia type of torture. They do these things where they make you react to babies of all ages in certain ways, from the babies to the older kids. Matter of fact, my last video was specific to what they did to me in regard to my dreams. Right, they just modulated me to have some nasty sexual dreams with like 13, 14 years. Like, it was just disgusting things. And so they do this consistently, and then you have the people around that are supposed to make you subscribe to it. Now, I know what this is about. This is ran by the government, and all entities are involved in this. It's funny, I just heard like a cop using the sirens. We obviously know that law enforcement is involved. You heard this woman say that. The hospitals are involved. That the court system is involved. Because this is a program that's run by governmental entities connected to DOD. Which, at this point, unfortunately for them, which is unfair for them, more than me, is I know that there's actually a problem with pedophilia in these agencies modulating us, controlling us, target individual. Those entities such as the DOD, the CIA, the DARPA, those entities have problem with pedophilia. It's been validated that there's a problem. And so for us, we are forced to get stimulation. Matter of fact, right now my libido is so cranked up. It's so nasty. Just because they made me have this sexual dream and play with my libido in these disturbing ways, and then start forcing me to get stimulations in so many ways. And in the next videos, you'll see videos about like the older kids. So one, they did that to like a kid that's, I don't know, maybe 10 years old. I don't know if it's a girl or boy. And then there was like videos about, and I'll talk about it, and I'll show that video with the older kids, just like maybe just 18 years old max or so, right? And of course, if they can do that to these babies, what they can do to 18-year-old is something else, because those 18-year-old at least in some cases look like adults, right? And so they can easily make me have these perceptions like I would look at an adult woman. If they can do that to a baby who literally is wearing the pampers, they're nasty fucking lowlife. And so you gotta be strong, because these people are trash, and this feels like biblical situation. And I understand that these people have even utilized childlike minded individuals to involve themselves. These kids are contracted for the agitation purposes. I think they think that I will let that happen, in the sense that I will let them escape in their childlike ways they want to agitate me. And so with me, one thing I've noticed is there's been less and less people trying to be visible. It's just because the validation is just beyond. It's just beyond. It's like when I used to say they sold their soul to pedophiles. Now it's just like more obvious that they sold their soul to pedophiles. As me, they forced me to get stimulation. That even right now I'm feeling stimulation throughout the day. They've been cranking on my libido for the sole purpose to give me stimulation toward these babies. All these babies. From the baby in the Pampers to the little tiny little girl over there, that's maybe 2 years old, and to the other kids. Like, this is what they do. And then, obviously they go through the gimmicky repetitions, which they usually use these childlike individuals to do this repetitions. It's meant to disorient you and confuse you. What at this point is not even confusing, it's more agitating, it's more frustrating, because it's just like, first of all, you sound like a child. You sound like somebody that should never be. Well, let's just say that these people don't. Some of them don't sound like people you should ever listen to. It's like a frustrated child who wants you to believe something that's falsified, while the others sound like just humiliating adults that are waiting for the torture in the hope that torture is going to help them kind of deal with the reality. For me, it's just, listen, in life, I don't want to be spiritual, but this feels like what you hear and what you read in the Bibles. The foul things, the evil things will be so easy to do. Are the easiest things to do, but at a price. And they're paying the prices to the point where you hear childlike individuals who think in their mind, like, oh, it's time for me to utilize my childlike ways. And that's when they come in, which is even more embarrassing for these non-childlike individuals. Because when you hear a child's like, no, they are, it's you. You're like, oh my goodness. But for me, it's just simple. I will let them be the childlike that they are. But they're going to have to be even more childlike, because they're going to listen to this. Testimonials showing the obvious pedophilia type of tormenting, the way they manipulate the libido, and on top of that, who is running the show and why there's so many pedophiles in these agencies, as they're forcing us to get these nasty stimulations, as they find ways to try to make you subscribe to these things. We mapped it. Trust. You mapped the 5,000. And I'm saying 5,200 specifically because this is the amount of employee that were downloading child porn in the Pentagon. The humiliation of reality is something that I'll never let them escape. Please listen.
This technology can be used to sexually manipulate the target. It can make the target feel sexual arousal, or
it's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophiles. Like this disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it. I don't care. I don't know if it's through weapons. I don't know.
Homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds. And
smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of plant V2K, or voice to skull. This involves the projection of voices, noises, and music directly into my mind to communicate with me in real time and at the speed of thought. And it also includes the manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and perceptions in the person's mind.
We're the Russian government, we're the Chinese government, we're evil aliens, we're Satan's, satanic ritual abuse. And I've heard all the stories. One guy believed it was some 14-year-old kid with an Xbox that lived next door. The trickery really is that great when you're under hypnosis, that people will believe something other than a massive government could do that.
Washington, the Pentagon's top investigator yesterday vowed an all-out pursuit of any employees who downloaded child pornography, adding that his division would review the 1,700 potential cases that were referred to military investigators 4 years ago but were never screened. Gordon S. Hedel, the Department of Defense's Inspector General, said in a statement to the Globe that his office is working aggressively to correct the mishandling of cases identified in a multi-department government probe called Operation Flicker. I can assure those with questions that my office is conducting an aggressive pursuit of anyone implicated in Operation Flicker and that it is a key investigative priority, Hedel said in his first public statement on the matter. The Pentagon agency has faced intense criticism in recent months for its part of a nationwide child pornography investigation that was spearheaded by the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, which has jurisdiction for such federal crimes under its mandate. The Globe reported earlier this week the Pentagon had checked only 3,500 out of 5,200 people who were suspected of downloading child pornography. The partial screening of that list, which was conducted in 2007, identified 302 people who were military personnel, civilian employees, or private contractors. Some of those held high-level security clearances and worked at sensitive intelligence agencies such as the National Security Agency, which eavesdrops on enemy communications. Several also accessed the images on their work computers, a separate violation. Out of the 302 cases, 70 were eventually pursued, and only a handful resulted in prosecutions.
As you see how he ended here, these people who do these things to us actually have a problem, which is funny that they, not funny, but it's interesting that it is a tactic they use to break us down with this pedophilia type of torture. Well, there is issue of pedophilia in these agencies that has been ongoing for a while. It keeps coming back every few years, and we get a glimpse of what's going on in that way. Now, for me, I'm just being too validated, right? As I'm hearing that, just like this woman who said earlier, people, neighbors around, people surrounding, doing this thing, I can hear them talking in the hallways, trying to counter this reality. Because they know what they did. They sold their soul to pedophiles and their children to pedophiles. And this shit is going to come back to them. I'm sorry for the language, but this thing will come back to this low life that find an easy opportunity that have a receipt to it.